Scientists call it one of the last untouched waterways that we have in the state, a home to endangered species and scientific discoveries. And it could soon be in danger because of Central Texas's rapid expansion.
What we're talking about here is Roy Creek Canyon. It's west of Austin, and its owners worried about its future. KXAN's Eric Hendrickson tells us about the battle for Roy Creek.
Hidden among rolling hills.
We're actually very close to Austin.
And deep ravines.
This is one of the best kept secrets, I think, in this entire area.
A grotto virtually untouched by man.
We have no public access and there's no public road.
The Roy Creek Canyon Reserve. The canyon is located just a few miles west of Austin, near Hamilton Pool and Reimers Ranch. Roy Creek runs through the reserve, fed by naturally occurring springs, then flows into the Pedernales River.
This is the old cedar ladder that was originally constructed back in the 1930s. It's the first way they were able to get done in the canyon.
Lou Adams' father and a friend bought the canyon from the surrounding ranch in 1941.
They decided at that time, seal the deal with a handshake, that they would keep it in its pristine condition forever and never develop it.
Why is Lou worried about the future of Roy Creek Canyon? The ranch land surrounding the canyon was sold, and plans for a new 1,400-acre conservation-scale development were announced called Mirasol Springs. It has become a sacred site for students.
It's nowhere like I visited.
Yeah, I've
before.
never been anywhere like this.
And scientists.
I've got salamander.
Are you rolling?
I'm rolling. We're some of the only people ever to see this species in the wild.
Colin Morrison, a PhD student at the University of Texas, visited the canyon while researching a rare species of passion vine.
He walked down this trail and he looked over and within 15 minutes he found the vine right here.
This is one of the most pristine areas that I've seen in the hill country. It's a really good place for researchers to go because we can see what that part of the hill country looked like before it became developed like it has now.
There's no other place like this. It's a one of a kind. When it's gone, it's gone.
Next time, we're taking a closer look at the development and what they say they're planning for the area. In western Travis County, Eric Hendrickson, KXAN News.
So another big project just southwest of Austin is also under scrutiny because of environmental concerns. So it's the 71-acre Violet Crown project set to go up in northwest of SH 71 and Southwest Parkway. It would include a 20,000-seat amphitheater, 2 luxury apartment towers, a distillery, and a tasting room, plus add on a Topgolf-style driving range. But at least next week's Austin Environmental Commission meeting, city leaders denied a request by developers for water and wastewater services. Some groups expressed worries about an endangered bird species that calls the area home. That does not mean the project is dead, though. The city council is going to have the final say on that one.
All right, you may want to mark your calendars here in Austin as Elon Musk is planning a big party to celebrate the opening of the Gigafactory in southeast Travis County. Over the weekend, the billionaire Tesla CEO tweeted, "Gigafest Austin will be held on April 7th. Company did a similar thing when a plant opened in Berlin, Germany. That included factory tours with a close look at the production and test drives. Here's the thing, though. Musk is also saying the guest list is going to be invitation only. So I don't know how we're going to get his attention, but it would be pretty nice to get the tour.
You know, Joe Rogan's going to be there, Dave Chappelle, all of his other close friends that he's hung out with here in Austin. All right, a historic piece of art is being prepared after police say a security guard vandalized it.
Look at this. You see the little eyes that are drawn on that painting there? Well, those aren't supposed to be there. The 3 figures painting worth about $1 million. It was on display at a Russian art gallery when the security guard drew the eyes on the featureless faces. Painting dates back to the 1930s. The security guard, though, could face up to 3 months in prison. And I was reading it was his first day on the job.
He said he was bored.
And he wanted, yeah.
He was bored on his first day on the job, and this is what happened.
Bored and immature. Like, find a
Exactly.
hobby, you know?
Exactly. That's horrible.
That's one way to get
Unbelievable.
fired.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's get you to your forecast. We've got a lot to talk about just because this week is going to be nice, warm, spring-like to start. And then as we get into the later half of the work week, it's going to get pretty miserable, to be honest with you. Windy, cold. We've got some showers in the mix, too. Radar this morning showing a little bit of light rain out across our eastern counties. But again, those reflectivities are light. What we're seeing for the most part out there is just pockets of drizzle, a little bit of mist. Visibility down because of fog. We do have low visibility here in Austin, less than 2 miles right now. Same thing in Cameron. Visibility reduced out across our eastern counties, looking all right across our hill country right now. Temperatures go from those 60s this morning to the 80s this afternoon. It's going to be ridiculously warm by February standards, considering we're hitting those mid 80s here in Austin today. Could even get into those upper 80s, maybe briefly touch 90 in some spots, but I'm expecting the majority of us to actually be in the 80s today. And then overnight, we see those 60s return. So enjoy the warmth while we've got it, because there's going to be a strong cold front coming in on Tuesday, meaning Tuesday afternoon we get one more afternoon of 80s, and then that cold air sinks through, and that warm air does not come back in that 7-day forecast. On top of that, we're also going to be looking at some winds, and that's something that you'll notice starting today. Those gusting winds, I would say 25, 30 miles per hour out of the south today, will continue through this evening. This is 10 o'clock tonight, and we're still on the gusty side. Tomorrow, relatively lighter winds, but behind a cold front, we know with the cold front, those winds typically gust up to about 25, 30, and that's exactly what I expect come Wednesday. As far as our rain chances go, it's a 20% chance of a few spot showers this morning. Drier skies as we get into the later part of the afternoon. Now, overnight tonight into Tuesday, we'll introduce that 20% chance of rain again, but it's going to clear by mid-morning tomorrow, and we see even more sunshine. The problem comes in with that cold front on Tuesday night into Wednesday, introducing cold air here at the surface. So that moisture up above is going to run into that cold air, and it's possible we see a little bit of freezing rain and some sleet mixed in with the rain. But there's not a whole lot of moisture out there, considering over the next 5 to 6 days, most of our moisture potential, our rainfall potential, is going to be less than 1/4 of an inch. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, you know where to find me: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. 7-day forecast shows temperatures in those 80s today and one more day tomorrow. And then look at the drop in temperatures between Tuesday and Wednesday. You will 100% know when that cold front hits your neighborhood. Temperatures stay in the 40s Thursday and Friday. Slightly drier as we get into the back half of the work week, but temperatures still struggling. We will stay below seasonal averages starting Wednesday and continuing all the way through the upcoming weekend.
Boy, that's crazy. Kristen, thank you. Next, the billion-dollar research happening in Texas, hoping to find treatments for an injury that sends thousands of Texans to the hospital every year.
Welcome back. There is some new hope for Americans dealing with traumatic brain injuries or other mental health issues. $1 billion now going to go toward new research here in Texas.
Yeah, they hope to find new cures and solve the mysteries of the brain. Bianca Castro finds out more about the program.
Concussions are one of the more common sports injuries for young athletes, and in 2016,
there's a bunch of that.
Researchers at UT Southwestern's O'Donnell Brain Institute set out to find out just how common they really are. Their results are leading to a safer playing field today and an even better understanding into the mysteries of the brain.
There is intense effort to really advance our understanding.
UT Southwestern President Dr. Daniel Podolsky expects more life-changing advancements in just the next few years, now that the university is pumping $1 billion into brain research. The money was raised over the last 5 years and will fund a 9-story research tower, new science and research staff positions, the latest technology, like this machine called the MEG that maps brain activity to assess everything from concussions to dementia, plus breakthrough treatments like high-intensity focused ultrasound for Parkinson's patients.
I hope that this announcement both inspires patients and inspires those who would ultimately like to be a part of finding so badly needed solutions to what are currently unmet medical needs.
Bianca Castro reporting for us. Now, concussions can be very dangerous. When we dig into the problem here, we can tell you that young female athletes may take longer to recover from a concussion than a boy. They are likely to wait longer to get medical attention too. A study from 2019 also found girls take longer to recover because of hormonal differences and some of their weaker neck muscles as well. Now, for more on the study and what's behind on the delay to get treatment, especially for girls, go to KXAN.com. Central Texas City fed up with the number of gas stations, storage facilities, and car washes on their streets. They're pushed to keep more of those types of businesses from popping up.
And the rule changes at Round Rock ISD when students come back and how it could impact wearing masks.
Your news today, American and Russian leaders could meet soon to discuss the Ukraine crisis. France says President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin have agreed to a summit. The White House says it is open to it, but not if Russia invades.
Starting today, Austin is stopping large brush and bulk collection until further notice. Austin Resource Recovery blames it on a lack of staff. The department serves 210,000 households.
Queen Elizabeth has tested positive for COVID-19. She is experiencing some mild symptoms, said she is triple vaccinated, and she hopes to continue her duties while isolated. Okay, back here at home, Round Rock ISD students, we know you don't have school today, it's President's Day, but when you do go back to school tomorrow, you may not need to take a mask. Good morning, I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Tom Miller. The district's no longer going to require everyone to wear masks at school. Instead, they're just strongly recommended. This new rule applies to staff, students, and people visiting schools who are fully vaccinated. That's key. People not vaccinated or immunocompromised still recommended to wear them at all times.
Right now, there are 16 total COVID cases in the school district with about 50,000 students. And 13 of the cases are among students. The other 3 are among teachers and staff.
Many states are lifting mask requirements for their schools as well. Texas never required masks, but many states still do. This all comes as the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is expected to release new guidance on masks sometime this week. You can expect looser recommendations on wearing them indoors. However, Dr. Anthony Fauci warns you want to stay cautious.
We got to be careful about that. You know, you don't want to be declaring victory prematurely.
CDC says COVID hospitalizations for kids under 18 were 4 times higher during the Omicron wave than Delta. Time now is 5:32. Kristen Curry tracking our forecast, and this is a little bit different today.
Yeah, a lot warmer, that's for sure. Temperatures in the 70s yesterday felt good, but today's going to feel even better. Let me show you what's going on radar, because right now we've just got some very light reflectivities pushing from the Austin metro into our eastern counties. What that is just a little bit of light rain. It's not heavy. It's not going to really have too much of an impact as far as significant or meaningful rain. I do, however, expect the fog to be with us through the next couple of hours, and we're still going to be keeping an eye on those spots of drizzle. You can see the Whittlesey Landscape Supplies weather camera there in Liberty Hill. Every once in a while, it's showing some of those raindrops here. This isn't quite heavy. Again, it's very light in intensity, in even size, but we'll take a little bit of a moisture. That's not something that we push away this time of year. 62 degrees. It feels nice out there. Those temperatures a lot closer to afternoon highs than they are normal lows. Temperatures area-wide in the 60s. As we look at where we're going from those 60s, well, it'll be 70s by lunch and highs in the 80s today. That 20% chance of light rain and drizzle will disappear after this morning. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds, and more sunshine than clouds at that as we get into the later part of today as well. So rain chances remain low today. We're going to keep in a 20% chance for a few spot showers, kind of like what we have this morning, into tomorrow morning's forecast. But really the bulk of the moisture we expect this week will arrive Wednesday and Thursday. The problem is that Wednesday-Thursday time frame comes behind a really strong cold front that arrives Tuesday night. So there's potential that some of these raindrops Wednesday-Thursday have to fall through a layer of near freezing air at the ground. So we know what that means. Freezing rain, sleet, possible as we transition into midweek. We'll talk about the details. Who do we expect to see the most amount of rain and what our temperatures look like behind that cold front that's coming up here shortly.
Thank you, Kristen. Another deadly night for local roads when it comes to motorcyclists. A person died last night after a motorcycle and 18-wheeler crashed. This was on Highway 71.
It's the most recent death in a string of motorcycle crashes. First responders shut down the area near the Southeast Metro Park in Del Valle to investigate. They say only the one person died. No one else was hurt.
In a 3-day span last week, police reported 11 motorcycle crashes. 4 people died. Most of the others ended up badly hurt. According to TxDOT, an average of 1 motorcyclist dies in Texas every day in a crash. An Austin police detective told us most of these crashes happen at night. The department is asking riders to wear proper gear and helmets, as well as brighter clothing so that other drivers can spot them more easily. Time now is 5:35, and diabetics who spend hundreds of dollars on insulin, they could be getting some help soon.
Yes, U.S. senators are finally looking to vote on legislation that would bring the price down to $35 per vial. Experts say as many as 1 in 4 diabetics ration their insulin because they cannot afford the high prices. The Senate is set to vote on the legislation in March.
Looking in depth here, new law in Texas caps the cost of insulin for insured Texans on state-regulated health plans. It's about 3 million people, and for them, copays are now limited to $25 per insulin prescription for a 30-day supply.
5:35 right now, and Austin ISD is answering parents' questions about how it plans to fix the budget. It's short more than $60 million for next school year. The district has discussed changes to student and staff schedules, cuts on allowances, and also potentially cutting hundreds of jobs from its central office. Now, some ask, though, why can't the district just sell the vacant properties it has right now? AISD says doing so would be a one-time fix, but wouldn't really help the overall deficit. Instead, it hopes to find options it says will better serve the community.
Okay, I want to talk about some different kinds of businesses: gas stations, car washes, storage facilities, all useful businesses for growing cities to have, but some in Kyle say they have way too many of them.
Now the city council there is looking to make sure more of these types of businesses do not keep on popping up. Nabil Ramana is live in the newsroom to explain why the change. Good morning.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning. You drive down the streets of Kyle and you're probably going to see many of these gas stations, storage facilities, and car washes. And to give you an idea of how many of these businesses there are, city leaders say the city has 26 gas stations. They've got 9 car washes and 6 self-storage facilities. They say for a town of about 50,000 people, they only need 15 gas stations, about 2.5 car washes, and about 2.5 storage facilities. At its meeting last week, the council discussed an ordinance that would stop storage units and car washes from opening up. It also considered not allowing new gas stations only if they can prove that 5,000 new people will move to the area. Now, council members agreed that all 3 types of businesses were important, but they want to find a balance that helps improve Kyle's quality of life and development.
I very strongly, for myself, am on the other side of the fence as it relates to restricting gas stations and car washes. Gas stations and car washes are convenience retail on small pieces of land that are used by the people in the neighborhoods. It is also a convenience item. It does produce a very low return on investment and has the potential to take up larger pieces of land, does not produce jobs, and we don't have that much land. So I can support personally the self-storage regulations.
Council members didn't vote on the proposal. They'll talk about it at the upcoming meetings. Kyle City Council meets again tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Bill. You know, one thing that's strange about this is you would sort of think that the market would just dictate how many they can have. Like if there's too many, there's just people aren't going to use them.
Yeah, I think that's what the council member was saying. He's kind of just on the fence. He's not really sure exactly, but that's a great story that Nabil did.
It is very interesting. Federal government is investigating a huge recall from Family Dollar stores involving hundreds of products in 6 states, and this is pretty gross here.
Yeah, good news and bad news. Hey, the good news, this is not a Texas thing. Texas is not part of the recall. The bad news, it's a huge rat infestation that sparked the recall in 6 states. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration pointed to unsanitary conditions related to a distribution facility in Arkansas. An inspection team found live and dead rats and some dead birds, too. So the video you're watching is disturbing. But this is a part of the investigation that was actually started by consumers who complained. Workers, though, at the plant sounded the alarm weeks before the recall, sharing graphic videos showcasing the problem with their sister station in Memphis.
It's 6 to 1 hours in the warehouse. You're going to see them from hour 1 to hour 6 to 1. They be running around, they be on the floor, inside the boxes.
The FDA is now warning people not to use certain products shipped from the warehouse in 6 states where the recall is: Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Tennessee. That includes things from human and pet food, medicine, baby products, and even makeup. So if you were worried about avocado prices going up and there was a shortage and what are you going to do? Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Order that extra guacamole. The U.S. lifted its ban on imported avocados. It initially stopped the shipments after a U.S. inspector in Mexico received a threat. The Department of Agriculture announced new enhanced safety measures for inspectors working in the fields yesterday. It is peak growing season, by the way, for Mexican avocados, which lasts from January to March. There is some kind of connection between the drug cartel and a threat and the avocados that were on the line, and it was wrong.
And it
was just wrong.
It was panic in the Miller household. I was thinking for a while,
did you go hoard avocados?
Well, just like, what am I going to do? I do have like 8 avocados in the fridge right now.
Oh, wow. But I only buy like 2 at a time because I feel like I never eat them.
I don't know how this happened.
Me too.
But
and I'll pretend in the grocery store, like feel them and smell them and do all the things you're supposed to do. I still just buy it, you know. Let's get you to your forecast because I want to tell you our temperatures are going to change in a very, very big way. I'm warning you right now, later this week will not feel nearly as pleasant as what we have today. February high temperatures, we've kind of flipped the script a little bit. We've had above average days more often than not when it comes to or compared to, that is, our below average days, and we hadn't had any normal day so far this month. Today, far above average. Tomorrow, far above average. The problem is that cold front is going to drop us down to the 40s Wednesday, and we will struggle to warm up after that. I mean, that cold front is going to keep our temperatures below average for at least 4 to 5 days after. The problem is the rain chance is still a little uncertain as we get into the later part of this week. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, one model has rain chances every day. The other model just has cloud cover. So we're sorting out the back half of the work week when it comes to those precipitation chances, but I am more certain about the rainfall coming in over the next few afternoons. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, thank you, Kristen. As we go out to your commute, here's a glimpse right now at your roads. You can see what Kristen's been tracking here when it comes to that fog and that light drizzle that's outside, going to impact some drivers who make that commute inbound from Hudson Bend areas in Anderson Mill, the Bee Cave area. So be careful on some of those more rural roads out in the hill country. We know there's reports of debris affecting drivers out in Hayes County. This is on North Turnersville Road, right as you're traveling to the SH 45 Southeast toll. It's dark, it's early, it's another area where there's very limited lighting, so just want you to be careful and watch for where crews could potentially be clearing that debris out of the main lanes. Leaving you with this, here is a look at your travel times around the area.
As mask mandates wind down in some cities, the Biden administration is shipping out high-quality face masks to give out for free at pharmacies across the country.
Yeah, I talked with the doctor about which types of masks are being handed out and which type is the best one for you. Doctor, you are an expert when it comes to masks on N95s and everything in between. Tell me what you have right there and which one we should be using.
Actually, both of these are N95 respirators. You can use either one. So when you breathe, any air that you breathe out, if you cough or if you sneeze, that air is going through that filter and it's getting filtered as it goes out. But as you breathe in, the air you're breathing in goes through the filter. So you have filtered air going into your nose, mouth, and lungs.
And is that proven to be better at protecting you against COVID?
Experts say that the N95s are going to provide the best protection because they do fit tightly to your face and they are approved. So you know that they've got that filter media in there. These N95s may look simple, but they're actually sophisticated safety devices.
So if you want to find out which pharmacy has the shipment already and is giving out the N95 masks online now, go to KXAN.com.
A new Texas National Guardsmen union working at the border is going to meet for the first time this week. The Army Times reports Guard members are organizing amid reports of poor living conditions and low morale. They are at the border taking part in Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star. The governor launching that initiative a year ago, focused on crimes connected to illegal immigration. The Army Times reports it's the first known troops to organize while in a state active duty status. Last month, the Justice Department weighed in on this. It ruled a federal law prohibiting service members from forming unions does not apply to guardsmen on state orders.
Well, you may soon be able to see better at night when you're driving, and this is when you're on the road and you don't want to be blinded by oncoming traffic. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration just gave a heads up to adding new lights in new cars. It's LED lamps that can focus beams on darkness, such as the driver's lane and areas along the road. They also lower the intensity of the light beams if there is oncoming traffic. Camera sensors and computers help determine where the light should point. The headlights are commonly used in Europe.
Well, spring break is under a month away, and South Padre Island is preparing for the first normal spring break that they've had in years because of the pandemic. So usually South Padre is that college party spot, but last year it was marketed as a family-friendly spot, with schools not having their usual time off. City officials expect the daytime to be more family-friendly still this year, while the nights will gear more toward that college crowd. The South Padre Fire Department will have an emergency site to deal with minor medical issues, but good luck if you need to go to the hospital, because that's a far, long trip to the nearest one, which is in Brownsville.
It can take up to 2 to 3 hours. It depends on how busy the hospital is, how soon we can get the patient out of the ambulance into the hospital, into the emergency room. If we're having big crowds, we could expect delays up to 4 hours.
The spring break for most students is the week of March 14th. You do not want to get stuck in that causeway. I mean, there's one way in, one way out of South Padre Island. Can you imagine?
I guess that's surprising to me that they don't have a hospital there, just because it is such a popular destination.
Yeah, there are just some places where you cannot build. It's such a pretty place. You cannot build in some of this area. So yeah, Brownsville is a whole other city.
That's a far drive. 2-3 hours. If you're hurting, you know, I don't know if I would want to do that. Let me show you what's going on with our forecast today, because we do have our Baylor Scott White Medical Center camera. They're showing low clouds and fog. Kind of a gray start, but it's nice and mild. Our temperatures are in the 60s. Feels good out there. It feels like spring, that's for sure. Temperature is warming into the 80s this afternoon with that morning drizzle and fog. Looking at a mix of sun and clouds by this afternoon. So it will break apart some, but those winds are going to be noticeable coming out of the south at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Look at your area-wide high temperatures today. I'm seeing a lot of 80s on that map. This will not be the first time we see the 80s. In fact, January, we have this random day in January of 81 degrees. But I do think we're going to be a little bit warmer than that day. So today will technically be the warmest day of the year so far. Overnight, we get right back down to the 60s. We get one more day of 80s tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see the 80s return. But then a cold front comes down from the north. That'll leave us much colder Wednesday morning, and our temperatures will not recover. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we stay in the 40s. Let's talk about the rain chances because we've got a few spot sprinkles, light rain out there now. That's my 20% chance in the 7-day for today. Drier skies later this afternoon. Overnight into tomorrow, I'm going to reintroduce that 20% chance yet again, but it's mainly going to be west of 35 that we see just a few isolated showers overnight tonight. Then I get you into Tuesday afternoon where we have more sunshine. But then as we get into Wednesday, because that cold front's going to come down Tuesday night, what will happen is it'll put a layer of near freezing air right at the surface on Wednesday. So even a little bit of moisture left over is going to have to fall through that layer of near freezing air. So that's where we're going to start to see maybe the transition of rain to freezing rain and sleet. I don't expect it to be a lot just because the limiting factor for us is going to be moisture. So we're not expecting half an inch of ice or anything. But I think we could maybe run into a little bit of that wintry mix late Wednesday into Thursday. So highs will be in the 80s today and tomorrow. Cold front moves in tomorrow night. Wednesday, Thursday in the 40s. Overnight lows down to the 30s. A widespread freeze on Friday. Slow recovery this weekend with temperatures back to the 60s by Sunday.
Thank you, Kristen. Austin's hike and bike trail getting a little more colorful. New artwork that you're going to see lining the path.
Welcome back, everyone. If you love Austin's trails, one thing that makes them so beautiful is that you can find art along the way.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we're seeing more soon. Sean Kelly looks at how a new initiative is making our trails more colorful and diverse.
One of the things that really has kept me coming back to this area is just this amazing art.
Public art is a special part of the Butler Hike and Bike Trail.
I love how creative it is. It's part of the charm of Austin.
It's about to get an upgrade. Temporary art installations on 10 miles of the trail, all part of a larger vision.
Expose trail users who don't normally see art maybe to art, and vice versa. Bring people who are interested in the arts to the trail for the first time, potentially.
Heidi Anderson, CEO of the Trail Foundation, says the plan is not to overwhelm people visiting the trail.
This is such a sanctuary for people. People are very protective of the trail, and as we are as well.
Miriam Connor with Public City says bringing artists who've generally been ignored is at the forefront of the initiative.
We've done a creative call to people in Austin, but also surrounding Austin because people have been displaced and pushed out.
39 artists have submitted so far. The committee will select only 3.
They're going to be building little models and then testing them on the water or testing them on the land, and then we're going to invite the community to come out and build them with us. The end goal is to have an art and cultural plan that the community has fully developed and participated in, the whole process of it. The community input, the building of the structures, how is it working, what kind of setbacks and what kind of collaboration can happen and partnerships can happen within the community to actually make our trail and our lake ours.
Sean Kelly reporting. KXAN's got nonstop in-depth weather and traffic stories and transportation stories like this one every weekday morning. You don't want to miss out. We've got Kristen, Sean, and Amanda from 7 to 9 on the CW Austin. It is things like that that make Austin just a little bit better. I love it. 2022, I should say, Winter Olympics, they're over. How many medals the U.S. won and they're bringing home.
And why the city of Austin is cutting back on picking up trash.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
Labor shortages could impact garbage pickup starting today. Good morning, I'm Tom Miller.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sally Hernandez. The city of Austin is stopping the large brush and bulk collection until further notice. A little bit more about when that could happen. But Austin Resource Recovery blames it all on a lack of staff, not enough people. The department serves 210,000 households. It takes around 400 drivers to cover all the routes. And right now they're down about 50 drivers.
That's a significant number. That's a significant hit.
Everything's pretty much slowed down in business-wise. So, I mean, if you're short of employees and things, what can you do about that?
A spokesperson tells us they don't know how long this is going to last. And right now, the city is in the process of reevaluating its pay to remain competitive. It's currently paying $16 an hour. Kristen?
Thank you so much, Sally. Hey, when it comes to today's weather, we're battling some fog, low clouds, even spots of drizzle out there. So not a bad idea to factor in an extra few minutes for your morning commute. You welcome about a weather camera there in Georgetown, showing a lot of those bright lights here. We do have some of those wet streets up towards the north. Temperatures, though, very comfortable. This is all liquid rain, considering we are well above freezing, seeing those 50s and 60s out there. 63 right now here in Austin. Same thing, Lockhart and Luling. 61 now in Llano, 62 in Fredericksburg. Winds coming straight out of the south. They're about 5 to 10 miles per hour right now, but I will tell you, these winds are likely going to get a lot stronger today. 10 to 20 miles per hour, easy. Those are your sustained speeds, but your wind gusts will get about 25 to 30. So it is going to be a noticeable wind, but unseasonably warm temperatures in the way today. Both today and tomorrow, it's going to feel a lot more like spring than it will end of winter. We've got a strong midweek cold front, though, that is going to take those temperatures down, not 10 degrees, not 20 degrees, but about 40 degrees colder behind that midweek front. And we're still going to be looking at some rain chances. And I will tell you, it looks to be mostly rain, but not all rain. We've got some cold air here at the surface, meaning sleet, freezing rain, not out of the question. We'll talk more about that coming up in your first warning forecast. But Mandy, I think the fog, the drizzle, that's certainly going to be an issue for some of us as we get our Monday started.
I think it definitely will. I know even when I was driving in, I know it's one of the first things I said to you this morning, the fog, the drizzle out there. All right, let's take a look at 6:02, what you can expect if you're going to be driving in from North Austin. This is I-35. If you're headed in from Williamson County, this is the camera near Southeast Inner Loop. So if you head in from Georgetown, maybe parts of Gerald, this could potentially be how things are shaping up for you. Not too bad, right? As we get out to a look area wide at your roads, here is what Kristen and I were talking about, that fog and mist kind of represented by that gray here on our travel maps. And overall, you can kind of see a lot of our roads are still reflecting a lot of green. May stay that way for the most part since there are a lot of students and offices closed today for President's Day. Debris in the road here at North Turnersville and SH45 North Southeast Toll. So for our friends out there in Creedmoor or areas in Hays County, just want you to watch for crews clearing the scene. Let's take a quick glimpse here at your travel times. If you are headed inbound, overall things still looking pretty excellent on those main north and southbound lanes.
There's new hope this morning for peace in Ukraine. American and Russian leaders could meet soon.
France says President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin have agreed to a summit. White House says it's open to it, but not if Russia invades. Newly released satellite images show the scope of the Russian military buildup near Ukraine, including before and after shots. They seem to show large amounts of troops on the move. Meantime, this morning, Austin family members are in Greece hoping for their second chance at justice.
Yeah, in the summer of 2017, their son, 22-year-old Bakari Henderson, was beaten to death by a mob on a Greek island. In 2018, 6 men were convicted on reduced charges of assault with sentences ranging from 5 to 15 years in prison, but at least 4 of them are already out, released, and none were charged with the most serious crime, which is homicide. Today, all 6, though, are facing a retrial. Unlike the U.S., the judicial system in Greece allows for someone to be on trial for more than once for the same crime. The family told us last week that they are praying for a different outcome this time around.
It is just barbaric behavior on anyone's behalf. So I truly believe that they need to be held accountable.
Bakari's friends set up a GoFundMe account to help offset the family's travel expenses. We have a link on how you can donate with this story on KXAN.com. Hey, if you are planning on going out and voting early today, you can't. They're going to be closed, those polling locations. It's closed today because it's a holiday, President's Day. It will reopen tomorrow at 7 a.m. and then you can vote early from tomorrow to Friday. If you are not able to vote early, then you could still vote on Election Day, 1 week from tomorrow. 2021 proved to be one of the deadliest years on Austin roads, and now the city is working to come up with some new solutions.
One idea here is taking a really different approach to encourage safe driving KXAN's Kenny Rodriguez shows us how the city is using eye-catching art to send a life-saving message.
If you're driving down Cesar Chavez, you may notice a new mural displaying a mom and her daughter, a boy riding his bike, and even some ducks. You'll also spot this woman. One hand up, signaling you to stop. In the other, she's holding a sign that reads,
"Life is valuable, please drive safe."
That's the message behind 3 new murals that aim to encourage drivers to pay attention to the road. Another shares victims' first-hand experiences. The third reads, "Pay attention." Lakeem Wilson is the artist behind this mural. For Wilson, this project hits close to home. His coworker just had a major surgery as a result of a car crash.
Just recently that happened. It was the same theme that we were focusing on in the murals about, driving safe on the roads.
Last year, more than 500 people were hurt badly on Austin roads, the lowest number since 2015. But despite that, 2021 became the deadliest, with nearly 120 people killed on city roads, up 30% from 2019.
We know from the data that there's a few primary behaviors and factors that are leading to these injuries. It really starts with speeds and speeding on our transportation system.
That's why Wilson hopes his crosswalk mural will remind drivers to slow down.
I really hope that they are able to see the mural, and if they were texting on a phone or distracted at that moment, that they can get rid of those distractions.
In Austin, Candy Rodriguez, KXAN News.
The city recently installed other devices in an effort to slow down speeders. These devices report a driver's speed in real time. You've probably seen these flashing at you. The city put them up at 7 locations that have a history of severe crashes, including East Riverside, South Congress, and Cesar Chavez. For the next year, the city is going to gather data to determine if these changes are working or if more need to be needed to make streets safe.
Okay, you may not realize this, you may not even believe it when you're stuck on traffic on I-35 or Mopac, but traffic is not quite back to the pre-pandemic levels. A report from TomTom found Austin drivers spent 74 hours sitting in rush hour traffic in 2021, 59 fewer hours than 2019. During the work week, the worst times to be on the road, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. On KXAN.com, we're going to dig deeper into this data for you, including how the most congested day on Austin roads actually turned out to be the day after the February freeze, when temperatures warmed up about freezing for the first time in a week. You can find this story on our homepage right underneath the top stories.
Switching gears here, police in Lakeway are on the hunt this morning, looking for a person who stole a trailer full of Special Olympic bikes over the weekend. Surveillance video shows a truck pulling up to the bike trailer at Lake Travis Elementary School. By the time, though, that someone went to pick it up in the morning, it was gone. To help out, the race director canceled his team's practice in Hayes County, then drove all those bikes to Lake Travis for the athletes there. A race mechanic also loaned the team some bikes as well.
During the pandemic, you are ready to quit, and then something like this happens, and okay, I can make it, because there might be bad out in the world and people might do things that disappoint you, but more than anything else, other people will come through for you.
The Lakeway Police Department says someone took the trailer around 11:15 on Friday night. It often feels like when somebody does something so awful like that, there is always a rush to help out.
Yeah, I hope they realize that whoever took that watches and knows those were bikes that you should not have taken.
Well, we know the 24th Olympic Games, they are now history. The Bird's Nest Stadium hosting last night's closing ceremony. And bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor carried the flag for Team USA. She's the most decorated black athlete in Winter Olympics history. American athletes earning a total of 25 medals during the Games, including 8 golds, 10 silver, 7 bronze medals. The 25th Winter Olympics going to be held in February of 2026 in the Italian cities of Milan and Cortina.
Ooh.
And the Paralympics are starting on March 4th, so there'll be some more opportunities to watch the Olympics.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Did you see when they went to Helena and her family was, you know how they always go to like the athlete's
Yeah.
family on Zoom, and her little boy was there while she was holding the flag. It was just an
is
awesome
sweet.
moment. Her dad and her little boy were kind of watching and cheering her on, and she was waving to them.
How
Really
cool. I love it. All right, let's get you into the forecast here because I want to show you today's forecast high of 84 degrees is going to feel real good. It's going to be the warmest day so far this year. As far as the trend goes, it'll probably be pretty close to what we expect tomorrow, so near the warmest day of the week, but morning drizzle and fog eventually clears to a mix of sun and clouds. So that's the nice thing is that gray kind of wet start we have out there now will not continue through the entire day. We do expect a good amount of sun. It will be breezy at times though. Look at the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday. We have a very strong cold front coming in tomorrow night that leaves us struggling for warmth Wednesday and Thursday. We are going to stay in the 40s and stay below average for the next 4 to 5 days after that front moves in tomorrow. What's interesting is models still keep us a little colder than normal as we get into that first week of March. Colder than normal conditions more likely than not across all of Texas with a little more uncertainty in our precipitation pattern. Maybe near normal to drier than normal. This, I think, is something we're going to have to work out once we do get closer. But again, enjoy that warmth today because it's going to be long gone once that cold front gets in here. But there will still be some rain chances as that cold front passes and into the later half of the work week that could maybe flirt with a little bit of a wintry mix. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Why one Austin suburb may put the brakes on the new gas stations and car washes.
And we're taking you to a virtually untouched part of Travis County and why some are fearing for its future.
Scientists call it one of the last untouched waterways in Texas, a home to endangered species and scientific discoveries. And it could soon be in danger because of Central Texas's rapid expansion.
What we're talking about here is Roy Creek Canyon, west of Austin, and its owner is worried about its future. KXAN's Eric Henriksen tells us about the battle for Roy Creek.
Hidden among rolling hills.
We're actually very close to Austin.
And deep ravines.
This is one of the best kept secrets, I think, in this entire area.
A grotto virtually untouched by man.
We have no public access, there's no public road.
The Roy Creek Canyon Reserve. The canyon is located just a few miles west of Austin, near Hamilton Pool and Reimers Ranch. Roy Creek runs through the reserve, fed by naturally occurring springs, then flows into the Pedernales River.
This is the old cedar ladder that was originally constructed back in the 1930s. It's the first way they were able to get done in the canyon.
Lou Adams' father and a friend bought the canyon from the surrounding ranch in 1941.
They decided at that time, seal the deal with a handshake, that they would keep it in its pristine condition forever and never develop it.
Why is Lou worried about the future of Roy Creek Canyon? The ranch land surrounding the canyon was sold, and plans for a new 1,400-acre conservation-scale development were announced called Mirasol Springs. It has become a sacred site for students.
It's nowhere like I've visited.
Yeah, I've
before.
never been anywhere like this.
And scientists.
I've got salamander.
Are you rolling? I'm rolling. We're some of the only people ever to see this species in the wild.
Colin Morrison, a PhD student at the University of Texas, visited the canyon while researching a rare species of passion vine.
He walked down this trail and he looked over and within 15 minutes he found the vine right here.
This is one of the most pristine areas that I've seen in the hill country. It's a really good place for researchers to go because we can see what that part of the hill country looked like before it became developed like it has now.
There's no other place like this. It's a one of a kind. When it's gone, it's gone.
Next time we're taking a closer look at the development and what they say they're planning for the area. In western Travis County, Eric Henriksen, KXAN News.